Hi, my name is Abigail Holbrook. I will be presenting my group project. We are group number 9, Uber in the Ukraine. Unfortunately, my fellow group mates could not join me on the presentation. First off, we just want to say thank you for watching this video, and we hope you learned something new. So Uber was created in 2009 in San Francisco, California by Travis Kalatnik and Garrett Camp. Basically, Travis was had a night out with one of his friends, and they spent over $800 on personal drivers, and they realized that was not good, and they do not want to do that anymore. So they came up with Uber. So Uber is basically just a rideshare app. It's like a taxi service, but you call a taxi on your phone. There's an app on your smartphone, connects you with a driver, gets you from point A to point B. Uber has over 3 million employees worldwide, in a bunch of different countries, a bunch of different cities, and their statement is transportation as reliable as running water, everywhere, for everyone. So they just want to expand everywhere, of course, to make this as convenient as possible for everybody who needs a ride. So Uber entered the Ukrainian market in 2019. So just from an outside look, it does seem like it will be a good idea for Uber to be involved in the Ukrainian market. It will provide extra jobs for people who either do not have a job or need a second job, they need a second income. So you, as a driver, you can start driving for Uber at any time. There's not a set schedule that you are required to be on. You can just log on to the app at any time and start driving. So for the country assessment of Uber, you have to look at the demographics in the Ukraine. The Ukrainian people, a lot of them, it is an aging population. So less people can drive themselves around just because of less, not as good eyesight. Maybe they don't have a car because they sold it. So it is convenient for them to be using ride shares. So they do not have to rely on their family or friends to drive them everywhere. They can just call an Uber directly from their house or from wherever they are, and it's super convenient. Uber's in unions. So Uber is anti-union, and this is because they do claim that it will be less money for the drivers overall if they were to unionize. I should have mentioned this earlier, but drivers are independent contractors. And then basically, if they were to unionize, this would mean more regulations on drivers, which would mean that drivers would be paid a flat rate instead of using the algorithm of minutes and miles that Uber currently uses. So this would mean that if you drive someone for 45 minutes, you are not going to get paid as much. However, if you do drive someone for 3 minutes, then you will get paid more. But overall, most rides are not going to be very short, so it is better to use the algorithm that Uber currently has. Otherwise, the drivers will not make as much money. So Uber does have a few projects, such as Uber Eats. This is not available in the Ukraine yet, but it is in the process. Uber Eats is just a meal delivery service, so you can pick your favorite restaurant, order some food, and the driver will pick it up and drop it off on your doorstep. Uber for Business is another one. So this one basically is kind of like it gives companies a digital headquarters for the company's ground transportation as a whole. So any employee can use it, and the company will get an expense report at the end of the month, end of the week. Just seeing how many people are using Uber, how much they are paying Uber in a given amount of time. And this one is used worldwide. And then Uber Freight is kind of in the works. They do have a driver shortage right now, so it is not going as fast as Uber has planned. But this one um, is basically a shipping service, so you can ship your packages with this, and it can also help save on inspections for your car, oil changes, gas, tires, anything like that. So, mode of entry, Uber is wholly owned. So, they did not use joint venture, they did not franchise, did nothing like that. They are they entered completely on their own, so they are responsible for everything in the countries that they enter. It might have been smarter for Uber to use the joint venture strategy, just because then they would be able to get to know the culture a little better and the local authorities better. And so that way they would later on, I'll talk about this, but maybe know how to market better in specific countries. So Uber uses global standardization, so they do not cater to different cultures or customs in whatever nation they are entering. So Uber is the exact same everywhere. I can call an Uber here in the US and I can call an Uber in the Ukraine and get the exact same service. It's going to be exactly the same. So this is good because they do have a very simple service that they are providing, so they don't need it to be overly complicated country to country. However, I will say in marketing, it would be a better idea to use localization instead of standardization. So Uber does have a very concentrated system. It has a very short channel. You call a ride directly from the Uber app. You do not use a third party to get an Uber. You don't have to call this random number and then they call somebody else and then they call the driver and then they come pick you up. It is directly from the app, and then the driver gets a message right away that you are needing a ride. And then the channel is also very low quality, so they don't need skilled workers. They just need a driver's license. You do need a car to drive, but that's all. They do not need to have a degree. They don't need any past experience, nothing like that. So Uber, to promote their service, they do use the pull strategy, which basically just means that they use mass media. They do not have people going door to door explaining their service, or they don't have people on the street corner handing out flyers and recruiting people, nothing like that. You basically, when you are scrolling through social media, you'll see an Uber ad, which is great because to use Uber, you do need a smartphone. And the majority of people that use social media also have smartphones. So they are not, they're mostly guaranteeing that anyone who sees their ad actually can use their service. Whereas if they were to go door to door, it's not guaranteed that the people who live there have a smartphone. If you put an ad on the TV, you are not guaranteed that the people who see it have a smartphone. But if you use social media, they will have a smartphone 9 times out of 10. In addition to the social media ad strategy, they also use their own clients to promote their business. So when you use Uber, you can get a coupon code that you can give to a friend. And when the friend uses your code, they get $5 off their ride and you get $5 off your ride. So it's basically a win-win situation. So this can introduce more people to Uber just by word of mouth. And then it also influences people to use Uber more often because they want more coupon codes. They want to share it with more people. And then since it's cheaper for them that one time, they're more likely to use it again another time. And then Uber also does use global advertising, so they don't cater each ad from nation to nation. Every ad that you see is going to be the same, whether you are in the United States or you're in the Ukraine. This might not be the best way for Uber to advertise just because it doesn't cater to every culture. So it might be better to have used the joint venture strategy. Um, However, um, Uber is doing pretty well. So, corporate social responsibility. So, Uber, like I said, is a taxi service. So, it makes sense to contribute to causes that are against drunk driving or human trafficking, because human trafficking can often happen with strangers getting into a random car, you're, alone at night. So it does make sense to contribute to those causes. So that is exactly what Uber has done um, to raise awareness for human trafficking, partner with McCain Institute, Polaris, many, many more. And then they've also partnered with the Brazilian football team to raise awareness for distracted driving. And so I have linked that YouTube video on the slide if anyone is interested in watching that ad. In conclusion, Uber should stay in the Ukraine just because it has a lot of potential to continue to be very successful and help out a lot of people. Um, and it does seem like it has been successful to be wholly owned. However, it may have been better to use joint venture, just so that way they would have a better grasp on the culture, so that way they could advertise better. And yeah, just like I said, it it could do a better job on the ads that they put out, just making it different. So that way, when I'm scrolling in the US and I'm scrolling in the Ukraine, it might be better to see a different ad that would apply to more people. Thank you.